Hello, it's Jessica Hicks here. Welcome to my live stream. And this is going to be a discussion. So, um, last week I had a little discussion about pretty privilege and how women are seen in the workplace, and also what challenges women have at work when it comes to their looks. So, in this video and live stream, I wanted to talk about also men and women. So basically, how do women and men work best in the workplace, and what type of challenges do we have? So I've got a little different look today. My hair is pulled back in a ponytail because it's just been one of those days. So this is how it's going to look. Semi-casual today. But yeah, I basically just want to talk about women and men in the workplace, and basically how we can overcome some of these challenges. What challenges do I not know for men being a woman? And then also, what are some challenges that women face that men don't really think of or know of? So that's what I'm going to talk about. I've got a few points here. And the first one is in regards to the whole thinking of work. So women doing a certain job and men doing a certain job. And why do women get paid less than men for the same job? And when I was looking online and researching what men were saying, and like on formats like Quora, a lot of men feel like they actually put in more hours in the workplace than women. And I thought that was interesting. I don't agree with that, but a lot of men are feeling like they spend more time in the office or online working than women do. And then in opposition to that, women are saying, we are working the same amount of hours, we're doing the exact same work. Why are we getting paid less? And so that's something that's interesting to see. I think when it comes to pay, I mean, it's just you pay people the same rate across the board, whether they're a woman or a man. So the point about men thinking that women work less than them, a lot of it seems to stem from women like leaving work early for kids, and the fact that women can take maternity leave versus men not really being able to take any time. Like, it would look really weird if they took paternity leave, or if they actually took more leave of absence in the workplace for their kids. And so I do see the point about that, because it does come off a little weird when men say that they're taking leave. Like, I've only known of 2 men that ever took a paternity leave in the workplace. So I totally get that. Oh, and hello, Minister Music. I see you. Welcome. Bless you too. It's so weird. I don't see the comments over here in StreamYard, or there's a delay. So I got my phone open too. So that was one of the main points that I started with. And I found a few comments on Quora specifically. So these are just men chatting back to each other about challenges they have with women in the workplace. The other one was actually, I guess I struggle with, because I can see it, I hear it, and I can understand this point, but men feeling like they have to really work to show themselves as less aggressive in the workplace, and not coming off as, too strong or too rough with women. And I actually talked to one of my friends about this, who's also a recruiter, and she definitely said that she sees that, and men have told her that. So I think in the time of Me Too, the Me Too movement, I've definitely felt a shift of men being very cautious of what they say. But at the same time, and this came up too when I was searching for what women were saying, men still come across as maybe too controlling at work. Like, if you're having a conversation in a meeting, it's difficult sometimes to for women to get their point across. And I actually relate to this myself because I have a softer voice. So when I'm in the office and there's actually a male colleague I have has a booming voice, he typically does control a lot of the conversations. It is difficult, especially now in the virtual work environment, to like get a word in edgewise sometimes. And so it is about, women finding their voice, but on the other end, men were saying that they wish women were more confident. So, hey, Edward Smart, welcome in. And I'm glad you both, two men, are in the chat because I would love to hear your opinion of this. Do you feel like it's more on the men that, they're controlling work conversation? So like in group meetings where it's difficult, a lot of women are feeling it's very difficult for them to say anything or get their voice shared when there's a man like controlling the conversation. Do you feel like men should do more to allow and make sure that women are able to talk, and even sometimes men talk over women? Like I'm voicing my opinion and then someone else talks over me. And I will say this is not just men, especially now that we're all virtual, it just happens. I think people don't really have the best phone and online meeting etiquette. And so you find people kind of talking over each other. But does it happen more with men? And I see a comment from Minister Music. So Minister Music, Terrence, you say, I think as long as you don't get big-headed, the workforce can be great. Yes, I think it depends. You deal with a lot of personalities in the workplace. So, for some, it's awesome. For others, it's not that great. And then with this, thinking about working, women and men working together, it's just, it is what it is. There are a lot of challenges that come with that. So I know last week we had a discussion on just the whole aspect of women being in the workplace and hiring, and how do men see women at work. But also we have these two stances of women saying this, and they see men as being like too aggressive, controlling the conversations at work, so they can't even share anything. And then you have it where men think that the women just need to be more confident, be more assertive, but then at the same time, and I think, and I don't know if there are any women in the chat yet, but for women, a lot of times when a woman is very assertive, she's called the B word. So how do you do that in a way where at the same time you're not just coming off as this B word, Let me see here. Minister Music says, I was a supervisor for over 15 years. I always stayed outside the box and let people say their opinions. Well, that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Minister Music. So I guess I have a question for you. Did you see any dynamics with women on your team or men on your team, or was it all, women or men? Like how did the dynamics for you play out during your time as a supervisor? Did you ever have to, jump into a conversation to make sure that a woman's voice was heard? I'm really interested to hear that. And welcome, King Akil. Hey, how are you? Happy Sunday. Edward Smart says, when I have teaching sessions, female and male guards express their opinions equally. I listen and value all opinions. Oh my gosh, that's great. I love that. And that's an interesting point, because with you, Edward, in the security space, I would imagine, and a lot of women that I've talked to, because I've been recruiting security roles at my company. And, these are different types of women. Like, they have seen some things. A lot of them have been in the police force. So a lot of those women do typically show that they are very assertive. They can jump in. They're used to working with men. A lot of times they've worked in the force for, 10, 15, 20 years. And then they're moving into corporate security, as a career jump for them. So that's a good point. But I do think for this, like in security, I feel like those women have had 10 plus years of training and working with men directly. So they, I would imagine, have learned to find their voice and are easily working with men. King Akil, you said, what did you miss? You didn't miss too much. I have just gotten started, so I am having this discussion about women and men and what challenges each face in the workplace. So what is it that, men are faced with when working with women that's really challenging that women don't even know? Like, I wouldn't know since I'm not a man. And then on the flip side, for a woman, what are some challenges with working with men in the workplace? Like, what are some things that maybe for men you really wouldn't know? Hello, Boss Lady Denise. Welcome. Glad to see you. Minister Music says it was both women and men, but I always, from the beginning, let them know that we are all equal and everyone is important on this team. I think that's great. Okay, so Minister Music, I feel like for you, you really went above and beyond and really shared your stance on it and made sure that both were equally able to be represented. I think that's great. And I'm curious, Minister Music, if you're still here, what, I guess you were a supervisor, but what industry were you in? And Edward Smart is saying that I'm correct about that. So I'm guessing I'm correct about the security, like the women that work in security, they are used to working with men. When you go to an environment where it's a typical office space and I don't know, you're talking to accountants or whatever, that can be a difference. You find that women are more, I guess it can be difficult for women to find that balance between being assertive and then also not being seen as a B word. I don't know how else to put it, but not being too assertive or not coming off too domineering to where it puts off others. I think that's really important. So another thing that came up is this. Let me see if I can find it. So the other point was that men think that women are too moody and they bring too much drama into the workplace. And I really don't think that way. I think that depending on the person and depending on the industry, some industries like HR, there's just drama sometimes, or public relations or communications, there's drama. I do think there are certain people that bring more drama to work, but I don't think that's always women. I have seen men, I actually have worked with a man who would always come into the office and there was always something wrong, like some huge thing that had blew up and there was always something. I've also worked with a man before where he knew all of the gossip. So it's not just women. Like he would share, this is what's going on with that person, this is what's going on with that person over there, and they don't do this and they don't do that. So that can be pretty dramatic. Let me see. King Akil, you're saying, so my question is, does our natural masculine feminine energy play a role? I do think that our natural masculine feminine energies, plays a role. But at the same time, I think that I feel like there's a lot of effort for women sometimes to display a more masculine energy, or sometimes for men to display more masculine energy, depending on where they're working. So something I mentioned, I don't know if King Akil, you were in here, but I mentioned that men think that they have to, and I think this is true, but they feel that they have to try not to be or come off aggressive to others in the workplace. so women. So they have to make sure that they're not coming off too assertive or too, I don't know, too tough when they're having conversations with women. And on the other hand, women see the men as coming off too strong in different scenarios, like when they're talking over them in meetings, when the man doesn't even realize that they're doing it sometimes. And so there is that natural, like, masculine, feminine energy, I think, that comes at play. But I also feel like there's this, I guess, missing point where women don't really understand what the men are going through or what their challenges are, that they're trying to be less assertive in that meeting. So with them talking over them a few times, like, it could have been even worse, but they're trying. And then women, with the men, and I found this on Quora. I read different articles on this, but a lot of men were saying that they wish women would speak up more and be more assertive and be more confident. And if they were doing those things, then they wouldn't see the men as being too, rough with them if they would do that. So that's something that they want to see from women. But naturally, there's a lot of traits that women just typically naturally don't have. Now, I'm not saying all women, just like not all men are a certain way, but typically this is what we see in general. But my question is, what can we do to help ease some of that? Like, what do we need to do? Because there's definitely, like, a gap between when I'm working, understanding what men are going through, and vice versa. Let me see here. Hey, Harold, welcome in. Nice to see you. How is your Sunday going? So we're having a conversation about men and women in the workplace. And so what are some challenges that men face? What are some challenges women face? And right now we've been talking about the whole view of women being not assertive enough, and then for men, they're too assertive to the point where they talk over and bypass their women, like bulldoze over the women that are trying to make different points and bring up ideas and things of that nature. Now, I will say I have seen this work the opposite way, where a man is working in a female dominated industry. And so this man comes off as being just, rough and tough, a cowboy, and he wants to do a lot of change. And I've seen that person in this true life, I won't say any names here, but in meetings, you would see the dynamic of where he brings up an idea or he challenges a point, very, like, in a respectful way, but the women kind of band together, the women in leadership band together and silence them immediately. Like, no, shutting every idea down. And I know I've been there where I bring up ideas and they just get shut down. And then someone else brings it up and it's like, oh my gosh, that's the best idea ever. And it's just like, are you kidding me? I just said that 5 minutes ago. But I've definitely seen that happen to men in that type of scenario. I haven't seen it happen a lot, but in my industry of HR, it just happens to be one of those female dominated industries for the most part until you get to top leadership. A lot of folks in the C-suite or executive suite, some kind of way, they're typically all men in HR. Like when I go to HR conferences and things, there are still a lot of men leaders, even in a woman-dominated field. It's interesting. Oh my goodness, Howard Fisher, you just got back from dropping off some food at my son's house. He has COVID-19. Oh my gosh, how old is your son? I'm so sorry to hear that. Is he okay? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna keep the conversation going, but let me know in the chat, like, let me know how your son's doing. How old is he? Like, did he just find out? And be careful. Definitely, like, take your distance. I know it's your son, but definitely wouldn't want you to catch it either. I don't know what I can call. I'm just gonna call it the cooties. He's 30. Oh my gosh, so that's young. So he's probably fine. He'll probably be okay. Does he have any conditions? And how's he feeling? So, side note, and then we'll go back to the conversation. But my brother actually also caught uh, the cooties, um, and he is almost 20 years older than I am, but he's healthy, so he recovered and everything fine. But I definitely hope that he's okay and he's doing all right and recovers very quickly. Oh, I see. Okay, Harold. So he engineer Electrolux in Springfield. Cool. He's 30. I'm assuming he's probably going to be okay. I am assuming. So Edward is saying, interesting. So Edward's saying, when I have to discipline a female officer, I don't treat them any different. I think that's good. I think that's good. But I do wonder if you've ever felt like you needed to be more sensitive, or if you've ever felt like you had to reword something a certain way. And it's interesting for you too, because I think, again, the security industry, like those are just a different type of one. Like they're typically strong, they're used to working and just all kinds of scenarios, which I've been learning lately. And it's not kind of that typical woman in the workplace. Oh my goodness, that is crazy, Harold. They're playing tag within the office. Okay, so that's crazy. They need to keep folks at home. The folks that have it just need to stay at home. Don't spread it around. Like, I don't need anyone else's germs attacking me. No, thank you. So another point I will mention, and Harold, you have to tell me if your son's feeling fine. Like, is he recovering? Has he had it for a while? Let me know. But this other thing came up too. So this one was, and I guess it stems into the drama point, but women bring drama to work. We're moody and we talk more than others in the workplace. So while the men are getting work done, they're saying the women are chatty. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. So, because I have a lot of men in here, what do you think about that? Do you agree? I have my own personal thoughts on it. I do think some women in the workplace do bring drama, but like I said before, I've seen a man like come to the office every single day. I kid you not. There was some dramatic thing that happened every day. And the other guy that would know all of the office gossip. So, I mean, it does happen for men too, but I do feel like more women in the workplace. Like if you see people just kind of in the kitchen, just chit chatting, most likely it might be women. And I was that worker that initially, when I first got into workplace, I just wanted to come in, do my work, and leave. Like, okay, I'll say hi to you, I'll smile, chit chat for a minute or two, and bye bye. But I learned quickly that I had to start being more social to build more relationships. So I do feel like that might be another part of it, that we need to bond and build more relationships. Let's see, rice and beans. Hey, welcome. So you said you watched the famous Kevin Samuels video because of the last discussion, and I must say he's an idiot. Yes, thank you, rice and beans. He thinks a real man is what Hollywood told him one is. He has no original ideas or opinions. Whew, okay. I mean, I don't really have any opinions of him as a person, and I haven't watched all of his videos. I watched a couple just so I could kind of get a feel of, okay, what does he do? Like, what's his thing? And I think he just has a platform of these men that like to bash women, particularly Black women is their thing. And the fact that Black women come onto that platform to let him tell them what they look like, I think is ridiculous in itself. But I did not agree with the video I talked about last week of that girl not being pretty. I thought she was pretty. There's a lot of pretty women. If she thinks she's average, that's fine. But for him to make that comment of you're average at best, I just thought that whole conversation was just ridiculous. So thank you for adding that point. I appreciate it. So rice and beans, not sure where you came in at, but Harold's son has the cooties, which is what I'm calling what's the thing that's going around, because I understand YouTube doesn't like when you say it. So, but Harold says the company has had most of their engineers in Italy when it came out last March, and told them that all they had to do is show up to work the day after they got back and spread it through the plant. What? They told them they had to come back to work. That's crazy. I wonder what, I don't really know about Electrolux. I don't know about that company, but if they're anything like Amazon sounded like they did the same thing. Like we have to get this stuff. We got to make our money. We don't care about this thing going around. We'll take precautions, but you guys have to go to work. Let me see. Edward says, I think women probably keep the drama to a minimum in my field. Yeah, I would say, in the security world, I can't imagine that that they would have more of that time to gossip. And then who are they going to gossip to? There's typically, and I don't know, Edward, this may be different where you are in Hawaii, but typically for security type of roles, there's a minority of women even in that field. So, out of a group of 10 people that are security guards, maybe 1 or 2 are women. So, if I'm a woman, who am I really going to gossip to or be dramatic to, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, Harold. Oh, so I'm gonna, do a pivot here, because one thing with the breathing, he can try steaming, like put lemon peels or orange peels in water and steam and breathe that in. That can help him if he's at home, like have him do that. Okay. So the other thing that I was interested in, and I don't agree with, is that women complain too much. So men are saying that women at work complain too much. And I definitely don't agree with that. I have heard complaints from every gender. I think people do it differently. Like, one person may complain to their manager versus their work colleague, or they may complain to just one person versus maybe this woman complains to multiple people. I don't agree with that, but I am interested. As you guys know, this is an open platform. I welcome all ideas. Let me see here. Rice and Beans is saying, hey, LOL, I think the difference between men and women in the workplace when it comes to gossip is that men view it more as amusing, and women maybe take the gossip more serious emotionally. IDK. So I guess I could see that, because I'm trying to think back to my experience too with the guy at work who just knew the gossip, like he knew everything. And I would say, yes, he took it very lightly. It wasn't like he was ingrained into everyone's life, but it was still very distracting. Like, I don't know if it makes a difference with the why. Like, I don't really care about why or kind of how you see the gossip, but I think either way, both men and women gossip at work. I think both men and women bring drama to work. And so it's like, what's the difference? But when I was doing research, that was a common theme, that men were saying that women were complaining too much, we're gossiping too much, and we're bringing too much drama. The men just want to work, and we're bringing all of the extra stuff into it. So I can kind of see it as a point. Let me see here. Like, for me, the gossip is entertaining. So for you, Rice and Beans, so are you saying like when you're hearing women gossip, it's just funny. You take it very lightly. Or are you saying that men gossip too, but it's like in a funny way, like, oh, did you hear whatever? And you're just laughing about it versus women are spreading legit, like juicy details. I do wonder because, and I don't know if I would have an insight into men really gossiping, but when I worked with a specific IT team, not in my current role, this was a few years ago, I remember hearing gossip. Like I worked with the IT group and I recruited for them directly. So I would go to lunches with them. I would, come over to their office space, talk to them. And I knew everything that was going on in everyone's life because those men would share with me what was going on in everyone's life. So I do feel like men in the office do gossip. I just think that a lot of times women, we probably don't see it, or men maybe don't think of it as gossip, what they're doing. But, if you're sharing someone else's information, essentially that is gossip. Let me see. Also, here is kind of talking about that company. I don't endorse that product because they don't even care about their employees, let alone their product. That is really sad, Harold. I don't like that. Kind of like Nissan. Oh my goodness. I had a Nissan car before and like it was okay, but the service was not that great. I will agree with that. So Ever says his women guards complain more about the uniform fitting. Oh my gosh, I love this comment actually. I get complaints about that all the time. Yeah, I could see women being more like the complaints being more superficial. That's interesting that the women are still complaining about something though. So it's the uniform. I think I would complain about that. I don't think I would like wearing a uniform, but also I would not be a security officer. That's not my thing. Like if I were an officer, I will feel bad for the people needing to be protected because I'm going to be like, who's going to protect me? Oh my gosh, I'm running. What's happening? But yeah, I would see women complaining about that for sure. Minister of Music is saying women do gossip a lot, but you got to try and stay away from it. So I think there's a balance for sure. I can see the point about women gossiping and kind of bringing drama to the workplace, but I do think there's a minority of women that do that. And the issue is that you kind of have to maneuver the workplace. And the big way to do that is to go to lunch with people and then talk and chit chat. But, I've even seen in HR, that's probably the one place that you shouldn't be really gossiping, but it happens. So yeah, I can see that. So the consensus, it sounds like, is that women do feel like women gossip in the workplace or gossiping too much and they have to stay away from it. So I can see that as being a challenge. And something I mentioned earlier that I want to ask again because I think some of you missed it, but the whole idea of men and women and the amount of time they're spending working. So, do you really think that men are working more than a woman is working? Like, do you really think that that is true? And if you do, why? Because that was another thing that kept coming up, that men felt like, as far as the hours that they're working, whether they're in the office or they're online, they felt that the women were not working as much. So I don't know if that's I think it is due to the kids. Like, more so women will say like, oh, I have to leave early because of the kids. Because the mom is typically taking care of the kids a lot of the time and balancing and juggling work more than the man, again, in most scenarios. And then the other key to this is that I did see a few complaints about men feeling like they can't take paternity leave. So once, a couple has a child, the woman obviously naturally is going to take the maternity leave. I mean, let's be honest, she's done the work, right? She has created this life, and brought it into the world. But men are also bearing a lot of the brunt of that whole situation. I mean, the baby's at home, neither parent is getting sleep, right? So why is there stigma on men taking paternity leave? And so they feel like it's very weird for them to take the time, or it's weird for them to take time to get their kids and things of that nature. But specifically, the paternity leave was something that I did see come up. Let me see here. Oh, okay. So we're talking about, okay, so we got some comments about the gossiping. So I'll go back to this. Um, so King Akil was saying men don't internalize it, and men will address one another. Women will hear something and it will change how they treat one another. Okay, so there comes the drama. So the gossip leads to the drama in the workplace. Got it. So you're saying it's and it sounds like this came up earlier about the emotions. So I think Rice and Beans made that point. So men don't internalize things, and women will address one another. Yeah, I can see that. I can see because I mean, let's be honest. I will say that women generally, I do feel like as a woman, I can be emotional, and I think that's a natural part of being a woman. It's like we're not allowed to say that, or we shouldn't say that, but it's true for me. Like I have my days where I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I crying about everything? So it is just our biology, right? So I do feel like that does play a part. I will agree with you, King Kill. I think that is a great point you made. Hey, Easy, welcome. Welcome to the chat. Let's see. Harold is sharing about the product. Neither is their product. They're making third shift work. Christmas Eve because they can't build anymore after the 24th because of emissions. Oh, really? I didn't know that, Harold. Interesting. So, interesting. So, wait, Nissan can't work, or is Intralux? I don't really know what Electrolux is. I'll have to look them up later. But yeah, I guess most places are going to be shut down by the 24th. They can't really do anything. Rice and Beans is saying, oh, okay. So you're talking about workplace gossip in general. So to you, it's just the cherry on top. I listen to the juice and then move on. I get bored, but I never treat it, or I never repeat it because I don't actually care about the story. Okay. So Rice and Beans, it sounds like for you, it's just entertainment. So it's just something like, okay, you've been working for 5 hours, you hear this gossip, oh, that's cool, highlight of my day, haha, and then you move on, and you don't really care about it. Whereas maybe for women, are you seeing that women are just like, they hear the gossip and then they do more of it, and then it takes up more time, or what do you think about that? I'm interested in hearing like the whole time portion, like the whole idea that women work less than men, because the challenge for women on our end, well, maybe we should be working less than men because we're getting paid less for essentially the same job. So, we're not being paid for the same work, but is it because men are thinking we're going to work less, or we're going to get pregnant and then we're going to take off months of work? Or I mean, what is the thinking? Because I mean, it is real life. Like there is a chance you hire a woman of a certain age, she may decide to have a kid. And that will take away some time from the workplace, but it's something that you just, you have to deal with. And women should have that right to take that time to have that kid, because it is seen as a disability. It's just like if a man were to step out on the street, a car hits him, now he's broke his leg and he can't work his job at a factory where he has to stand and it's very physical. So should he be entitled to that time off? Well, I think he should, and I think it should work both ways. Let me see here. King Akil's vlogs on average, yes, because women tend to have home duties. We have to respect one of the most important jobs ever, motherhood. Oh my gosh, I love that, King Akil's. Yes, yes. Um, but I guess what for me, like, is it a challenge? Like, what's the challenge for men? I think that is right on. Like, yes, women are gonna have home duties, but so does that always mean that the woman works less though? Because I have seen many women, I've done this myself, where, okay, and I don't have kids, but I've left the office early just because I gotta do whatever. And I'm like, I gotta do this because I do feel as a pivot here, I do feel like as someone without kids, well, I could be missing out on taking time just because I don't have kids and I can't make the excuse of, oh, I need to leave early for my kid. But what if I need to leave early to take my car in or to, go to a doctor's appointment or do whatever? So yeah, I've had those times, but I make up that time. So in those moments where I'm like, oh, I'm taking the afternoon off, a lot of time I'm getting online later or I'm working a longer day the next day to make up for it. Like the work is still there. And so even if you're seeing me leave the office, you don't know that I was online last night for like 5 hours. And so the work still got done. You know what I mean? So it's I get the paternity, like the maternity leave piece of it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, to your point, King Akil, this is like, it's going to happen. Pregnancy is seen as a disability for women, and they would need that time to recover and take care of the kid. Let me see. Harold Fisher is saying if you work for Nissan, you get triple time, but if you're a contract worker, you get time and a half after 40 hours. Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. So if you're on the line at Nissan, we get paid the same, male or female. That is a good point. There is a big difference, Harold. I'm so glad you brought this up. There is a big difference when you are in a certain function, like there is a set rate of pay for each job. And I wish it was the same way for the corporate or professional spaces, because a lot of times how the professional sectors work, unless you're in government sometimes, I think government is a little more stringent, but you have the job. Well, you could have a situation where this woman is hired and she gets paid 70,000, but this man is hired and because he negotiated more, he gets 80,000, but they have the same skill set, they have the same years of experience, they have the same education, like nothing really sets them apart outside of the fact that this guy negotiated and this woman, maybe she didn't negotiate or maybe she negotiated, but still just wasn't able to get that rate of pay for whatever the reason. And a lot of times it comes down to subconsciously, either we're doing this or consciously paying women more in professional jobs. And so it's a tricky tier, the men are saying like, oh, well, the women don't work as much. But the women are saying, well, we don't get paid as much as you do for the same work. So it's like, it's really challenging. It's like a battle against each other. Two battling points. Let's see. So Rice and Bean saying they take the gossip and run with it more, I guess. The male maternity thing is interesting. Kevin Samuels would probably say something dumb like men don't want to be better, so they don't ask for time off. I don't even know what that man would say. Honestly, he'd probably just say if the man doesn't have enough money to keep their wife at home, they're not a man or something wild like that. I've actually come across, a friend has heard a man literally say that to her face. Like, why are you working? Your man doesn't have enough money to keep you at home. Something around those terms is what this man said. But I think he was from Utah or somewhere, like some really weird where the culture is different. But it's just like, what? Like, there are women that work because they want to. That is a real thing, and either way, it's none of your business. Let's see. Gossip pretty much makes morale low. You want to have high morale so you can be more efficient as a whole company. I do agree. I agree with that. And so I've always struggled for myself because I've always been one of those folks that I'm just like, okay, I want to get this done, and then I'm done with work. I'm on to, my personal life. But it's that politics thing of where you have to build these relationships, and then you have to, talk to other people, especially when you're on site in an office. You can't just go to the kitchen, make your lunch, go to your desk. You have to kind of make sure that you're having lunches with other people and showing camaraderie and things like that, which is fine. But a lot of times that's where those conversations will happen. Like, you go out to lunch and then it ends up someone's talking about someone else and bringing in some other matters, and you have like a longer lunch, and it's interesting. There are a lot of dynamics that play out. And I would say, again, it's some industries over others. I would say when I worked at the public relations firm, that happened a lot more than where I'm at now. I have a great team now, so it doesn't really happen. But we do get to know each other, and we do a lot of bonding. Let me see. That's called the good old boy system. That needs to go away. Thank you, Harold. Yes. But it's like, how? How do we? Because it's interesting, because it seems like it's so simple. Just say, this is the job and this is the pay. No matter what, this is the pay. Then we have to find people that are at that level. But it's just not how it's not how it works. Let's see. Everyone has those days, like you said, to get other things done, but the major difference is men tend not to have the same parental responsibilities. So I would say, technically, yes, women work less. So King Akil's point, he's saying women would work less. So women do work less, in his opinion. So, for me, I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, I do see that women with kids could be in that scenario, but these men were talking very generally. So I don't even know if they're including women without kids. They were generally saying, like, women are working less than men. And then when I digged in deeper and just started looking at different articles about what men's thoughts were, the only trend I could see was about the whole paternity leave thing. So that's interesting. Let me see here. King Akil says, actually, Kevin would say that, not saying she wouldn't work, but she shouldn't have to, especially if she's having a child. And you know what? I don't disagree. And again, I don't personally know Kevin Samuels, so but to that point, certain women would definitely not have a child with someone if they did not at least have a choice of staying home with that child. I think for myself, if I were to choose to have a child, I think I would need to at least have that choice, because I just think, raising a child is just such a serious matter, and I would want to do my best job. I feel like if I'm doing 50% of work and 50% at home with my child, and then I've got the kid at this daycare, and I don't know what's going on at the daycare, and it's just a lot. And the early years of a child's life is just so crucial. So I would probably agree with that point, that I think a lot of women should be in a scenario where at least they can. And I think a lot of folks don't really get just the sheer act of having a child, a woman having a child. Women can die in childbirth. They can have complications after that does take time to recover from, if they recover. It is a serious matter. So I don't think it should be taken lightly. And I think that it's really sad that a lot of women don't prepare for it or take it more seriously and think about, the precautions and the what if this happened before they find themselves in that situation. So no, I would actually agree with that. Let's see. Harold said it's called Drain Swamp. Oh gosh. Oh man, that is too funny. Uh, well, you know what? We are in an era where we're going into 2021, and I feel like nothing has changed. So nothing's changed. I'm not making an argument for less pay. I'm just saying. Okay. Yeah, I definitely don't think women should have less pay. I think, either way, because here's the thing. You have two people performing two different jobs. Okay, that makes sense. If they're performing two different jobs, one should get paid a certain rate and the other should be paid a certain rate. But when you have the scenario where you have this person doing the same job as this person, they have to do the same work output. They're getting those work outputs, so they're doing their job, they're doing their job well. Why are they getting paid differently? I think the only scenarios would be if this person does better work than this one or provides more results than this person, although they're in the same role. That could be a scenario, but otherwise I don't see why there would be any reason for two people doing the same job essentially to get paid differently. So that's my take on it. So let me see here. There were some other points in here. Oh, this was actually interesting because I actually agree with this one. This is something a man had said, that women, when in management positions, women tend to micromanage more than men do. And I said this in another video, but I personally enjoy working with men, and having male bosses because a lot of the time men are just easier in some ways. Typically, they're not micromanagers. They want to show you how to do something, have you loop them in on things that are important, and come to them if you need help. Otherwise, they're assuming that you have things done. Like we can check in once a week or however much we need to, and they're not all in your back trying to figure out, okay, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? What are you doing today? What were you doing last hour? It's it's like a little suffocating. So I do feel like some female managers, not all, can be more micromanagers. And I don't know what that stems from. To King Akil's point earlier about like the natural feminine and masculine traits, I don't know if it's coming from a place of like being someone's mother and needing to constantly know. I do feel like women, we need information. So even you can even see like in a personal scenario, if you're dating a girl or your wife, typically they're going to want to know, okay, where are you at? What are you doing? Are you safe? Okay, great. Like for me, I'm just like, are you hurting yourself? Okay, great. Are you doing anything stupid? Okay, great. You're not perfect. But for some women, they have to know all of the details. And so I definitely think that trickles over into work, and it makes it difficult sometimes to have female managers. And King of Kills is agreeing with me. I'm glad someone's agreeing with me because I mean, and it's nothing against women. I do also, I will say I've had a female manager that was great, was completely not a micromanager. And, it just depends. Sometimes it can come down to training. It can come down to maybe getting pressure from her boss. I don't know. But just in general, I've felt like men just they don't need to know all the details. They just want to know high level, what's going on, and, come to me if you need anything. So, and that's my point about that. On the other end, I actually thought this was a funny one, so I'm gonna throw this one in. Men were complaining about women, saying that we're never happy with the temperature in the office. So I just had to laugh about that. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's true. We women, we normally are cold natured, a lot of us. And so it's hard to get some of us in sync with the temperature setting. So we're normally not happy with whatever the temperature is in the office. You're gonna hear you're gonna hear some complaints. Let's see. King Akil says, I think they feel the pressure to produce results because of the stigmas of women in the workplace. I like you, King Akil. You really get women. You really do. Yes, I 100% agree with that. I think there is a ton of pressure on women to produce solid results and constantly producing results. And so, with saying that, with women having this bar set and this pressure to produce these results, you know, how is it that we're seen as working less? If we've got all this pressure to produce results, we're producing results, but we're still getting paid less, and we're still seen as if we're working less. So how does it make sense? Like I don't understand. It's just it's like how Edward is laughing at me. Yeah, I bet you're laughing about the temperature. Yeah, and I don't know if you've experienced that ever too, but women, just on a lighter note, we are typically not happy with the temperature. I don't think I've ever worked in a space where I was happy and I was not freezing to death in the office. Like I always had to bring a sweater. It could be like 95 degrees outside. I had a sweater in the office because I knew. I just knew. So that's one benefit of working from home. I can just set the temperature and I'm good. I don't have to worry about me versus, other people. The other one, so I saw this note too, and I just thought it was funny, so I included it. Was one guy said he wishes there were more women in his workplace, which I loved it. I was like, yes, more women at work, of course. So I don't know if that gets into, I don't know why the guy said that, if it was, I just want to see more women at work, or is it something that women bring into the workplace that you like? So are there things, we've talked about the challenges of working with women, but are there certain things that you prefer with women in the workplace, or do you prefer to work with women on different things? I would love to hear that too. But it sounds like from a management perspective, women in the workplace are just more micromanagers. Let me see on the women's end though what they were saying. Okay, so this is something that kind of stems from our last conversation last week, is that just the feeling that men are not respecting you as a woman. So, especially I thought about just the cultures, different cultures when you're working at a global company. That can be a challenge. I remember in the office, we were doing some research in order to see if we could send this female to Saudi Arabia on an assignment. And I was actually tasked with doing a lot of that research. And it was just mind boggling. Oh my gosh, this woman is going to have a very difficult time doing anything in Saudi Arabia. Like these places where you can't even, like if I'm in a company of a man, I can't buy something for myself. They have to buy it for me. Or at the time, I don't know if she could drive. I don't think she could be alone by herself. And then men with greeting a woman, it wasn't commonplace. Like there was a level of respect that just isn't there. So even culturally, there's an issue. So this woman ultimately did not go on that assignment. But there's a lot to think about in comparison to if that had been a man. we wouldn't have had to really think about, oh, well, who can she actually work with? How is her life going to be? What things do we have to consider as far as just her day to day life, and her safety? Even it's just a lot. So even going from that, and here in the United States, like, obviously totally different culture, but women still feel like there's that lack of respect, like things that men say, wishing men wouldn't say certain things to them. Like, there was one lady, and I actually have some personal experiences to this, but one lady said this man, their manager would call the men in the office sir, like, nice work, sir, this and that, sir, and great job, sir. But he'd call all the women kid or kiddo. Like, he'd say, okay, that's nice, kiddo. And I'm like, that's really weird to me, first off. If he's calling all of the men sir, then why don't you just call the women ma'am or something? Why make that distinction? But I will say, what did this guy say? I was working with actually a security professional, and he was great, awesome guy to work with. Can't say anything about him negatively, but he would call me little lady. That's what he would do. He would be like, "Hey, little," like if I called him, "Hey, little lady," whatever, whatever, whatever. When I met him for interviews, "Hey, little lady," and it's just like, okay, I guess I can roll with this. But different ways that they greet, like men will greet women, can show some lack of respect to that woman. Like, they can feel a certain way, especially, I think this is really important for when you're in meetings. Like, if a lot of times he would just say that when we're just, he's greeting me, so it's fine. But like, I do wonder how I would feel if he, we're in a meeting, comes in and he goes, "Hey, little lady," and then he greets the other men. It would make me feel some sort of way, I think. Nothing where I would harbor it too much, but I would take note of that, like, how am I coming across to the others? Also, going back to the point about just finding your voice in the office, that really doesn't help me find my voice by you calling me little lady and calling everyone else their name or whatever. Let me see here. Uh, okay, so the advantage of women in the office, it sounds like it's just that women smell nice. That scares me. That scares me. That I hope there are other things in this. But I mean, that I would hope women smell nice in the office. Now, something I also did find is that some men did not like certain women and their smell in the office. And I will elaborate on that. But there were some men that did not like the way women smelled in the office. So they basically were saying that it was too much perfume. It was just too fragrant in the office. And I totally 100% get that, but I don't think it's just women. I have come across plenty of men that have on their cologne, and I guess they don't know that they put too much on, or they can't smell themselves, but you get in the elevator with them and you're just like, oh my gosh, get me out of here. It's like, it's not as bad as, the cigarette smoke in the elevator, but it's just like it hits you in the face. It's just like you could have just put on a few drops and you would have been nice, but now you're suffocating me and I can't breathe. But yeah, I definitely hope there are other positives to having women in the workplace. Okay, so hey, real brother, how are you? Welcome. Happy Sunday. And he says, hey. So he says, depends on why. Is he wanting more diversity and a focus driven nature, or does he just get tired of looking at men all day? Wow, okay. I can understand his point, but he's asking for a nice HR visit. Yeah. So the guy that said he wishes there were more women at work, I agree. It just depends on the motive because I've had a manager tell me, like I was working with him to make a hire. He point blank told me it would be great to have a woman in this role, and also said like it would be great to have, you know, maybe a black woman in this role. And it's just like, and with the HR hat, it's like we kind of can say that, but we kind of can't say that. So it's tough. But yeah, it definitely depends on the motive. Like, are you looking for some of the strengths that women bring into the workplace naturally? Is that why you're looking to hire a woman? Or is it is it a motive of, oh, I just want someone pretty to look at, where you have, the case of receptionists all being women, because typically the presentation that the men liked for their receptionist was a pretty woman, versus, okay, how many men applied and wanted to become a receptionist? Because there are men that want to be receptionists or want to be, work in administration, and then they don't get the job, and you wonder why. So there's so many double standards we talk about in here. Real Brother says, King, he's talking to King Akil. They do smell pretty awesome. Like, I take that as a compliment, but at the same time, I do hope that there are other reasons that men appreciate women in the workplace. Because it's a struggle. Because, okay, well, men, do you just want women out of the workplace? Do you prefer to just work with all men? And I know I brought this up before, but there are certain women, a lot of women on YouTube, that have these discussions of women should be at home, and there's no point to working. Why work for another man when you could just work in the home and support your man? There's also men that think the very opposite, like, I'm a man, you're a woman, you want equal rights, we're going to do this 50-50, you're going to work, I'm going to work, and that's it. And then you also have the men that are like, no, I want my wife at home. Why does she need to work outside of the home? I've got us. I want her here. She can support me. So it's interesting. Like, are there, and it's difficult for me because I'm not a man. I can't get into the male psyche. So I wonder, are there tangible things that you feel women bring into the workplace that either make it either better for you to enjoy work, like just maybe liven up the workplace, or we getting results? Because I have a very close friend who has told me, for women are naturally really good sales people, but a lot of us don't know how to, we need more work to close the deal. So that's something that we're really naturally strong at. Let me see here. King of Kills. Let's see. Since you brought up the way men address women, am I the only one who notices that men call women females but refer to themselves as men? Any species of animals can be female. Only we are men and women. You know what? That's interesting. And I actually just said it on this chat. I actually said female. I said a female. And I think a part of it for me, why I said female, is because, again, I work in HR. So on a lot of applications and a lot of documents that we have male and then we have female. And we don't typically say men and women. That's a good point. And I don't think that's right. Now that you're saying that, King Akil, I think that we should be called men and women. That is a really good point, because I could see, and I just said female. I don't think another woman would, feel any sort of way with me saying female. But when a man says it, it does seem to have a different intention. I feel like men only say female when they're upset with that woman or when they're talking down to that woman. Like, again, like I think Rice and Beans, I don't know if you're still in here, but I have heard Kevin Samuel say this female, or I've heard of other men, and I will say it's typically been a certain race of men that have said this female, la 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 la. So yeah, I think it is a derogatory, or meant to be a derogatory term towards women. I can't imagine a man coming to me in a workplace, going back to my example of the guy that would say, "Hey, little lady," calling me like a female. Yeah, hey, female, or yeah, that female over there. If they were talking about someone else, I would feel some kind of way about that. Hello, Paolindo. Welcome. You're late. Yes, you are late, but that's okay. You can always watch the replay. That is the beauty of YouTube. And we're not done with the discussion, so no worries. I hope you were eating something very yummy for your dinner. I am still waiting for you to tell me that you have eaten some delicious Italian sea bass or something like that. Let me see here. Oh, I missed this one. So Real Brother says, so we'd love to have you, Jess, because you check all the minority boxes we've grossly overlooked in the history of our company. You know what? That is a great point you bring up, Real Brother. I'm so glad you said that. Because I think for a lot of women, and I feel like a lot of Black women feel this way, kind of feeling like, okay, did you hire me because I am the most qualified, or did you hire me because I meet your quota, because I'm Black and I'm a woman? So I check two boxes off. I remember this guy a couple of years back, he made a joke about, because we were talking about diversity. So, whenever we talk about diversity, it's kind of like this whole conversation. Everybody's on it for a couple months, and then it kind of trickles out until something happens again. Like some big thing happens, and then every company's like, oh, we got to get diversity again. It's like back on. It's like a cycle, and it's very tiring to work in HR and be passionate about diversity and continue to work towards it and not see any results in the long term. But anyway, this guy made a joke during this time that, oh, we just need to find, because we're talking about military, Black, female, I don't know, I think it was disability. We just need to find LGBTQ. We need to find a Black woman that has a military background, that is also LGBTQ plus. I get that stuff wrong all the time. Sorry, guys. LGBTQ plus. I think it's LGBTQA plus. All of that above. So he was basically making this joke that we could check all the boxes and hire just one person, which is aside from the point. Like the point is, to get to a point where you don't even need to say, I want to see at least one military candidate, one, person of color, one woman. It's just a different way of thinking. And I feel like it just comes down to the value. So even within this conversation, hearing from men that, okay, what do you see as valuable for women in the workplace? And not really seeing anything other than, oh, women smell really nice. Like I like the way they smell. It's like, that doesn't bring value into the workplace. So what is it? Why? So how do we make the point that this company should hire women above men outside of just hitting their diversity numbers? How do you even make that point? It's tricky to say. Like if we can't even make the point of, this is how women are valuable in the workplace, how do we make the point that hiring someone with a military background is valuable in the workplace? How do we make the point that hiring Hispanics and Black people, that's valuable in the workplace? Or I don't know. It's very tricky conversation for me. Oh, Paolindo, thank you. Aw, I appreciate that. Thanks so much. You're so kind. You were eating beef, tomato sauce, and olives. Aw, wah, wah, wah. It's not what I was looking for. I was looking for you to eat some seafood, Paolindo. Let's see. Based on that train of thought, we're putting all women in the context of a wife. Not all adults are married. Yeah. That said, marital status should never be a negative connotation in the workplace. You know what? It's interesting because it shouldn't be, but it is a positive or a negative connotation, depending on what your environment is. For women, it can be a positive if you work around other women. It can be a negative if you work with solely men. Whereas for a man, either way you go, whether you're married or not married, you're kind of seen as positive until you hit a certain age when you're expected to be married. And so then it's seen more as a positive, like you're getting married, you're taking on more responsibility. Maybe we need to pay you more. It's crazy thinking in a way because that shouldn't all the personal trickles into your work and the decisions that people make for your work. So I agree with that. And yeah, what about the women that do not have kids and men still feel like they don't bring any value to the workplace? They're working less than the men. They're bringing drama in the office. They're complaining too much. They smell nice, but they're not bringing tangible things to the office. Like, how do we deal with that type of thinking? Also, they're too moody. Well, I mean, I'm just going to say it. Yeah, there is a certain time in the month that women are going to be moody, and it's just science. It is biology. All of these negative things really attributed to the women in the workplace. And then you also have the situation of the women where they're feeling like, okay, hey, I'm doing the same work. I'm not getting paid the same as my male counterpart that works right alongside me. I can't get my points across when I'm in meetings. Men are talking over me, or they're not listening to my ideas. They're controlling, they're too domineering, they get too angry in the workplace. They are, I remember this one situation where a man like threw a laptop or something in the office. So all of these different things, men are not really respecting me or feeling like you're not respected or feeling like you're not in the know or that you can really connect with other men in the office because they're actually making decisions while they're together at poker or whatever, and you're not a part of that. You're not in the in. So there's just so many different ways that men and women clash, and a lot of it is just unspoken. So you have this kind of, underlying, you have these underlying things that people are feeling and they're thinking, and it doesn't get addressed. Okay, let me see here. Real Brother says, Paola, no, that's an interesting combination. Yeah, exactly. Paola said that's true. Trust me. King Akil is saying women think differently. We need women in elevated positions to make change and move companies in different directions. Okay, thank you. We got a positive. I love that. So women bring a different way of thought into a workplace. Okay, I like that. I do like that because in thinking about that too, that's always been a part of my reasoning for why diversity is needed in the workplace. How do you be innovative if you have the same people at work? If you have the same people just doing groupthink, if you don't have a diversity of how the world actually looks like, how do you actually match your consumer? How do you meet your clients? So, for consumers, whether women are at home or whether they're, married, single, whatever, a lot of the time, women are the ones that are buying the product in a home. So for a company like, who am I going to pick on? Johnson and Johnson, I'll pick on them. For a company like Johnson and Johnson, they should have women on their staff, especially in marketing, for example, to really understand how to message to women, for example. It kind of just goes back to reflecting how the world actually looks externally. So if the women in a workplace don't really match, like you only have one woman working in a company, well, that doesn't reflect what the natural world looks like. Or if you only have a certain group of people, like there's only white men in your office, but the real world doesn't look that way. How are you really able to get the results that you want, especially in now we're in this global world, everything's very connected. It's very challenging for companies to be able to match competition if they don't have that diversity. So great point, King Akil. It took us a little while to get there, but we got something positive. Yes. Let me see. And I think you have another one. So King Akil is saying, every time you have an issue, I ask one of the women in my life, and they always see something I missed and give me great advice. Thank you, King Akil. I'm so glad we got some positives of what women can bring into the workplace. So at work, women can bring a different perspective than what a man is looking at. And I think that in general, that is great because, but I guess, we're not like thinking about that on a day-to-day basis. But I think that's something that we should focus on. Like, how do we both, men and women, how do we work together and, make things better? How do we come together and kind of play off of each other's strengths and fill in to where others are weaker? I think that's really important. Paolindo. Oh, Real Brother says, yeah, we call that sauce pizzaola. Am I saying that right? Pizzaola? It's good for pizza too. I'm Italian. Yes. Pizzaola. Wait, where? I need to find out about this. So you were eating, oh man. I think I lost your comment, Paolindo. Oh, here he goes. Okay. I was eating beef, tomato sauce, and olives. Pizzaola. So what do you put so you put the tomato sauce on top of bread and then you put beef and olives on it? Like, do you cook it? Like, you got to tell us more about that. I don't know. I don't know if I would like that. Oh, okay, Paolindo. Yeah, you are, Paolindo. You are always talking about food because I come on during dinner time. That is so true. Like maybe I'll have to switch up my schedule a bit. But yeah, you're normally talking about your food and what you have for dinner or what you're gonna have. That's funny. Let me see here. I want to make sure I covered all of these points. Oh, okay. This is interesting. So this actually came up for women. So women think, and I've seen this myself, but as a woman, feeling like you automatically have to do the girly jobs. So, what are the girly jobs? The party planning or event planning, whenever there's going to be something in the office, you have to plan it. Any type of social activities. Even I remember this lady is a CIO now, and she even had an instance. This was years ago, but she was working, I guess, as an accountant or something, a professional role, and one of the managers, a man, came to her and said, "There's no coffee. Are you going to make the coffee?" It's like, and she told him, "No, I don't have to make the coffee," or whatever. So they went back and forth. But that's another expectation, that women are expected to like make the coffee and like help keep things clean and tidy in the office. Like everyone works there, but the woman is seen as being the one that needs to do that, along with if there's any type of event that they feel like that management feels like needs to happen, well, the women are called on to take on like these different committees that they have. So you'll have a committee for this or that. And normally it's the women that take on those tasks, or they're asked to take on the tasks, sometimes even expected to do it. naturally. So I 100% agree with that. Folks in the chat, let me know what you think. If you've been guilty of that, of like thinking like, oh, that chick she'll probably clean it up. Like if there's an event. Yes. So after events, the men, every scenario, leave. Like I don't even recall. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I don't recall men really saying, "Oh, do you need help cleaning?" Or, "Oh, I can help out with this." They're gone. Nice party, nice group, nice event, whatever. I'm going back to the office to work. And then the women are the ones left like, okay, great. Well, I guess we just have to clean up after this whole mess. So that is a really good point and something that stuck out to me when I was, cruising the internet for these different opinions that women and men have. And so I don't even know if men realize they do that, where it's just like naturally like, oh, you're making the coffee. Oh, you're planning these events. Oh, you're cleaning up this and that and keeping things tidy in the office. I don't know if men are realizing it, but that's work. So to the point of men work more than women, well, what do you call that? That's work that's additional to what we do in our day to day. So it's like, and I do know one guy, and I suppose this would probably be for men of the LGBTQ plus community, but when the only times where I've seen the men actually be asked or take up and say like, hey, I want to help out with this committee or this event has been men that are of the LGBTQ plus LGBTQA plus community. I'm gonna get that right one day, and it's gonna be like 15 other letters attached to it. Let's see. Food is a wonderful topic. Okay, one day I'm gonna get on here and I'm gonna eat, and then we're gonna chat. We're gonna have like a dinner chat. I'm gonna have like I don't know, Paulino, you can give me some ideas of what we can all eat and chat about. Have do a dinner or breakfast chat or something. Since you're always bringing up food. Cheers. Or maybe it's even like a coffee chat or a wine, like wine down Wednesday or something. I don't know. I'll think of that. If people will come and hang out with me, I might do it. Let me see here. King Akil says, this is why I'm an advocate for women starting their own companies. Yes, I 100% agree with that. I do. Because I do think there's a lot of challenge for women in the workplace, and so I have to deal with, but at the same time, so whenever someone's talking about starting a business, depending on what the business is, sometimes it's a business where you do need a little bit of experience first. Like you have to get the company to kind of train you, and then you learn it, and then you get this experience under your belt, and then you go ahead and you go on your own path. I see a lot of people do that. I've even personally done that myself with the consulting. Like I don't think I would have been equipped to help people with building their resumes, or I had a consulting call this week with a girl. Like I would not have been able to help her and direct her with her career if I had not had some experience myself in different situations in different industries to be able to say like, hey, these are 3 different options that you haven't considered yet. Here are the options. Here's what you can do to get there, and let's continue talking about this. You have to do X, Y, and Z to get started. So yeah, I think that is a great point. I think women should, I think everyone, I think not just women, but everyone should start their own business. But I do imagine, because I just feel this way, that men in general, again, I'm not talking about every single man or men that are in the chat. You guys are lovely people, of course, but I feel that men feel entitled to women. And the reason I say this is because of all the different social things that you see, like controlling women's bodies or what we say, what we do, if we can work, if we can do this. There has been this control for many years on women and what we can do. So I feel like with women building their own companies, I do feel like, and I think men and women will do this, but I think you will still have the same dynamic of kind of the women versus men, because there will be men that will say, well, this is an all women company. Well, they're not accepting men, or they're being discriminatory against men. And so you will see that. And that actually happens. There are scenarios where men are being discriminated against. I go back to this experience I had, and I wasn't like in HR working in that field yet. I was in college, and I walked into this. It was like it was just a smoothie, a Smoothie King, and I walked in. I was just kind of walking because I was looking for a job, and I had my resume. And this guy literally hired me that same day, and he was telling me, yeah, you seem like a nice girl. And he looked at my resume. You go to this school. It's a good school. Yeah, I'm going to see if I, have, the opportunity to take on another staff member, and then I'll let you know. And then literally I left. 10 minutes later, got a phone call. It was him saying, you're hired, and can you start on this date? I don't remember what day it was. But during that conversation with him, he shared with me that he does not hire guys. He literally told me point blank, I don't hire guys because, I've just had, and I'm using my male voice, I don't hire guys because, I've just had too many issues with guys, and I just prefer to hire girls. Girls, you guys work great, and this and that, and I don't have any issues. And I was just like, at that time, I'm in college. I don't care. I'm like, great, good for me. I'm a girl. Please hire me. And it was a cool job, very easy. Didn't have to do much. Got tips from just giving smoothies. Like it was just the easiest, best job I ever had. And he was a great guy, but he definitely was like, I don't hire guys. It was just like, okay. But today I would say, well, you're discriminating against men, Let me see here. I've seen guys. So brother is saying, I've seen guys give speeches about female coworkers. It wouldn't be foreign for him to mention her looks in the speech. A man can look like Jason Momoa. His looks won't be mentioned in a serious venue. You know what? Yes, real brother. And you know what? I shared this in the last live. I don't know if you joined or not. I can't remember. I'm sorry. But I mentioned my own manager in the feedback that I got with my first professional job. Her feedback was basically, "Oh, Jessica, you're beautiful and you're smart, and you can do anything you want." And it was just like, what? It's like, okay, so what do I do with that? I better not mess up my face. Great. But yeah, when women are talked about in general, the first thing that people start with, whether it's a man or a woman, I put women in here too, because when I describe my girlfriends, I typically will say, yes, she's beautiful, she's sweet and kind and this and that. But for a man, like how I would describe my own brother, I don't think I would be like, oh, he's handsome and this and that. I would just be like, yeah, he's cool, he's smart, he's doing this and that. I would not describe them that way. But in a professional setting, I do feel like even women, I wonder, I want to hear what you guys think about this. Do you think women create the dynamic somewhat for ourselves? Because I do feel like we want to hear that we look nice. So from, if I go into the office and one of my coworkers or my boss, or even if I'm on camera, now in the virtual environment, I've had a really sweet girl on my team. She's just very supportive, and she'll be like, oh my gosh, I love your smile, or oh my gosh, you look great today, Jessica, and saying those type of things. And yeah, I like those type of compliments, and a lot of women do. So most women will say to another, like, "Oh, I like your outfit." But I would not typically say that to a man, like, "Oh, you look great," or "You look really handsome today." But women, for us, it's very natural for us to say, "Oh, you look very pretty today," or "I love your outfit," or "I love your hair." Can a man even do that? I don't think men feel as comfortable complimenting women, especially now. Now I have had men awkwardly say, "Oh, you look nice," in an awkward way, or if I got my hair done a different way. I remember this guy. We were about the same age, but we were both very early in our career. He was like, Jessica, you look nice," and then it was like really awkward, and it was like, like we didn't really know what to do, because it is that dynamic of, you have to keep your distance, you have to watch what you say. And so that was another point of the men feeling like they have to be super duper cautious of what they say and what they do, and how they're coming across to women. And I have felt that, especially with the whole Me Too thing. When that was going on, men were weird. Like, men were like, I mean, it was like, "Oh, yeah, you look nice." Oh, I mean, I would say that to anyone, but men were flustered, and I get it. You don't want to come across a certain way. You don't really know how women are going to take things. People are sensitive. I don't know if I'm sensitive in that way so much, because I like compliments. So I would just be like, "Thanks," But there is that dynamic of the office, and what you can say and what you can't say. Let me see here. But yes, also, going back to this point, moment of silence for Jason Momoa. That is a beautiful man right there. I had to. That is like my top celebrity crush. So I'm like surprised that you said that, real brother. Like, you chose Jason Momoa in particular. I don't know if I've ever mentioned him on the channel, but that is like, I don't even know how old that man is. I know he's older than me, but that's a beautiful man. Anyway. Oh, Paolina's gonna cook for me. Hey, love it. Pizzaola. I guess I'm missing out. I've never heard of pizzaola until this very moment. Paolina, I had never heard of that before. Let me see. King Akil says, "I remember working at McDonald's as a teen, and the store manager openly made it a point to put the guys and the older women in the back with the grill and the young women at the registers." Okay, King of Kill, that is very true. That is 100% true. And I actually, I know that they do that to increase their sales. They put women in the front. And I feel like this is in everything from McDonald's to the office. Women at the front, because they want clients or customers to see a pretty face. That is so true. And even like, I think back to working at Macy's. I used to work at Macy's at the jewelry counter. And that was a pretty easy job too. But it was interesting because they just place you in different departments. You don't really necessarily get a say. And if you want a job, you're not going to be like, "Oh, I don't want to work in this one." But they placed me in jewelry for some reason. I didn't know a thing about jewelry, but that's where they placed me. But then I met another lady. We were about the same age, and she was placed in the stock room. And the only thing I noticed about her, I think she might have been of the LGBTQ community, but she was definitely a more masculine type of girl. And so I guess just that appearance thing, like naturally looking at the appearance and placing people into the roles that you think. So with that, even her being a woman, just her coming off as more masculine in her build, they put her in the stock room. I remember we were talking one day. She was at my counter, and the manager, a woman, comes to her and she's like, "Don't you need to go to the stock room to do something, something?" It was just like, are you kidding me? Like, and so no, nothing against Macy's, but I thought that's that whole scenario was just crazy. I don't know, maybe it's just a bad manager, but literally came up to her and was like, shouldn't you be, taking care of something in the stock room? But again, it goes back to the presentation. And there was only one man in the jewelry department. All of us are women. And I actually haven't thought about that until just now. All of us were women, and the one man in the department, I think he was of the LGBTQ community, and he was a manager. So it is so interesting how all of this plays out into the work life. So I'm so glad, King Akil, you brought that topic up, because I do think, and maybe that's another advantage that men see of women, of, oh, pretty face, you're going to draw in more people, or you're going to, maybe customers will deal with you in a better way, and things of that nature. Hello, Percy. Welcome to the chat. Nice to see you here. Hope you're enjoying the conversation. Paulindo, brushing his teeth. Okay, it's cool. You take care of yourself. Do what you got to do. Real brother, who's Everybody Loves Raymond? Oh, yes. So Paulindo is in Italy. So, in Italia, I don't know if you have that show, Everybody Loves Raymond. Paulindo is it's like this American Italian lives, I guess, on the East Coast somewhere. I can't remember, but it's like a comedy, and they follow his family. So he's an Italian living in the U.S. Real brother says, I think I'm pretty flipping beautiful myself, but that is one great looking dude. And yes, I'm completely secure in my manhood. Yes. To my point earlier, Jason Momoa is just a beautiful man. Let's see. Paulindo, same premise, but with an Italian family. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So because I'm very interested in this, taking a little caveat. By the way, Paulindo, I do not eat meat. So I do eat seafood on occasion. So I don't know if I could do that. Oh, it's a pizza. Got it. So it is a pizza. Okay, great. Paulindo's saying, try it. It's delicious. Cool. All right, so let me see here. I want to see if I covered everything, but really good discussion. Like, a lot of this I hadn't really thought through, like the scenario that King Akil, like what you brought up about companies, so McDonald's putting the men in the back and purposely putting the women. Yeah, because when you go to, I don't really eat fast food, but I'm trying to think. But let me see. I do feel like, yeah, mostly women are the cashiers and men aren't. So the men are naturally doing the I don't know, harder work in the back, and then women aren't. And like my scenario of the girl who was, again, I think she was of the LGBTQ plus community, but definitely came off as more masculine, them naturally putting her in the stockroom and not really wanting her out in the public where, the customers were. It was very like getting that vibe from that manager that she literally wanted her to stay in the stockroom. It was really bad. But yeah. Yes, real brother, I am pescatarian. I mean, I've been doing more vegan lately. I haven't had seafood in a while, but if I do have seafood, it's on occasion, and it's got to be really good seafood. Like if I go on the East Coast right now and I'm at a good seafood restaurant, I'm going to have seafood. But otherwise, I try to be plant-based. So yes. All right, so we covered a couple things here. So I don't know if we came to any solutions, but challenges that men have definitely with women are the complaining, the drama, them appearing. I didn't really get a lot of points about feeling that women are less confident, because Edward Smart was one that brought up the point that in his industry, security guards, these women, they can work with men easily. They're very secure, excuse me. They're confident, they're, strong in their abilities. They can speak up for themselves. It's very easy. But in other industries, I wish I had learned more from folks about that. So we can talk about that in another live video. I'm sure I will have something related to this topic come up again. And the whole moody drama thing, we talked about that for a bit. So it seems like the consensus is that yes, women are more dramatic and bring more drama to the workplace. And the issue with it is more along the lines of the emotion. So like we bring in more emotions when it comes to work. Not necessarily just the drama itself, because Rice and Beans was saying earlier that it makes work a little interesting. So I mean, I get that, but I think at the end of the day, both do it. Both men and women gossip and they bring personal life to work. That's just going to be natural. But I think it's important for companies to make sure that they have a culture where, yes, you can have open spaces of where you can share, but that should not be taking over work. So you should not be spending a lot of time doing that. It should be more efficient where you can come into a workspace and get your work done, have a little chit chat here and there, but essentially it should not take away from the work or complicate work in any way. So I think where the men were coming from is it gets to complicate the work. It doesn't, it doesn't increase our productivity at all, Let me see here. I'm laughing at Paolindo's comment. I'm going to look at that in a second, Paolindo. If we're looking for solutions, we have to step outside ourselves and put ourselves in the shoes of our other counterpart. Definitely. 100%. And old women in the back with the grill. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so and I don't know about old women. I guess I haven't ever. I'm trying to think about like the whole ageism thing. Older women being in the back of, yeah, and I don't like McDonald's. I'll tell you, I worked at McDonald's for a short period of time and I didn't like it. So I was like, this is crazy. Yeah, so actually, a weird story about McDonald's. I work drive-through, so a lot of times I work drive-through. I worked morning, weekends, and there were a lot of older men in there. They would actually tip. I did not know all these places tip before I started working there, but the old men would like tip me because they'd be like, "Oh, you're going to college," like it was the summer before college or whatever. And so the older men, like they would come in, they would just sit there, drink the coffee, whatever, read the newspaper, chit chat, whatever, and they would actually tip. But I do wonder, because I don't think, I don't think there was a guy that worked on like as a cashier at all. So that is so interesting that, yeah, so they were missing out on like tips from these men, and maybe these men wouldn't have tipped them. I don't know. But Real Brother is saying, I eat McDonald's fries. They put older women in the back. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So I will say something though about just on a pivot here with the McDonald's fries. So I stopped eating McDonald's fries a long time ago because I saw this video that was going around and it had the McDonald's fries in this canister, and the fries never broke down. Like they never got moldy, they never did anything. And so with food, there is a natural, like for me, I throw out food every 3 to 4 days. Like just if it's questionable, I just toss it. I learned that from my aunt, one of my aunts. She's no longer with us, but I just toss it because it gets moldy. And the fries never, like they didn't do anything. Like it had been, I think it eventually got to months and months. Like they just had to throw out the fries because it never did anything. I'm just like, what is in there? Like, is that even a real potato at this point? Like, what is it? Because anything else will break down naturally. If you put bread in a container and let it sit, it's going to mold. You put a sweet potato in something, it's going to start sprouting. Like it was really strange. And so I was like, I don't think I want to eat that anymore. Although those fries are like super addicting. I do remember that. I don't remember exactly how they taste, but I know they were really good. Let me see. Super Size Me. I have watched Super Size Me. It might have been Super Size Me. I don't remember. I don't think I watched that full documentary. Paolo is saying, if it were for this society, the ugly people should not work. Oh my gosh. And Paolo, I know we talked about that a little bit with pretty privilege. I feel like for women, it is harder to, get ahead in a workplace initially until you've kind of built up your experience and things. But just in life in general, I question sometimes if life is easier because I look a certain way, or if I looked even better than I do now. Like if I lose 10 pounds, like is someone going to treat me better? If I don't know, put some extensions in and do X, Y, and Z, am I going to get even better treatment? And because appearance it's like people make judgments quickly, like looking at someone for like 3 seconds, making an opinion. But then I also feel like, I don't know the psychology of it, but is it that if you're better looking, does it raise your vibration, or does it kind of give you that confidence boost and that energy that people just naturally gravitate to? Because when you feel really good about yourself, you're naturally smiling and you're looking at people in the eye, and you're doing these nonverbal things that are really drawing people in. So if I'm like frowning all day, I don't think people will go, oh, I want to say hi to that person over there. So is it that, is it that treatment? But then in the other sense, scenarios where you're pretty and you treat someone bad and they're still nice to you. So I don't know. To Paolino's point, there is definitely a double standard with how attractive you are. Or we talked before with the height for men, like if you're shorter or you're taller, like you're treated a different way. And then I do wonder, I haven't done the studies on this, but with men, for a man that's more attractive, is that helpful for him? Or if you're more fit versus someone that's shorter or maybe bigger on the more plump side, because I've definitely seen the dynamic of a bigger person. But within hiring, I think a lot of it comes back to confidence, because I say this a lot in my videos when I'm giving that type of advice. For someone that's looking for a job and you're going into an interview, you have to feel confident. You have to do whatever you need to do, whether that's putting makeup on your face, putting on a suit, putting on a little bit of cologne. To my point earlier, don't splash the whole thing on your on your body, but whatever you need to do to make you feel confident, smile, walk a certain way, have a certain posture, because I think those things at the end of the day, people pick up on. That's what we're gravitating to. It's not just the fact that, oh, Jason Momoa is this beautiful man. It's not just that he looks great, but, and I'm going to go back to this because, that's my favorite celebrity crush. It's how he carries himself. He's very confident. He has this booming voice. He is, just oozing with confidence in themselves. So that's another point. So to Paulino's statement, with how society treats people, it's like, well, if only the attractive people worked, we would be missing out on great thinkers. Because I mean, look at, I don't know, Albert Einstein or Jeff Bezos, or I'm trying to think of some women, and none are coming to my mind right now, but there are definitely people that have made great contributions to society, but they're not the best looking person out there. So what if they couldn't, like half the billionaires, I wouldn't say they're attractive. Let me see here. Oh, I'm missing stuff. Let's see. But in 4 years, we had in TV every channel that person with a big blonde quiff, Donald. Oh my goodness. You know what? It's so funny. My mother likes that man. Thinks he's funny, thinks he's great, and I have my own opinions. I don't even know. Hello, Miss Full Roller. Hey, so you missed a lot of the conversation, Miss Full Roller, but we were basically making a comparison of men and women and the challenges that are faced in work. So we covered a lot. We covered, the fact that men think that women don't work as many hours as men. We talked about men not feeling like they can take paternity leave when they have kids. We talked about women seen as being complainers and dramatic and too moody and all of these different things. Men wanting women to be more assertive, but then women really seeing men as being too domineering and controlling conversations. So I have had all the men in the chat, representing the men. So if you have any thoughts on that, please do share. A lot of the consensus was that, at least from my standpoint, men and women both bring drama to the workplace. A couple funny caveats in there. We talked about women never being happy with the temperature, and some men wishing that there were more women in the workplace, but we wondered why. Like, what was the motive of that? Let me see here. Do I like the show The Office? So I know everybody loves The Office, but I mean, I like it, but I never got into it. I was never one of those folks that I was always watching The Office. I just don't gravitate. Like, I don't watch a lot of TV, so it takes something really good to draw me in. The TV that I watch is more like, I've been watching The Mandalorian recently, so I'm very much into Star Wars, and I have been watching Bernie Mac. Like, for my comedy, I go back to like old sitcoms and stuff. So no, I never really got into The Office. Like, it was fine. Like, there were some funny parts to it, but I just couldn't get into it. So no, not really. I know some of the characters, but not by name. Like, I know what the characters look like. Paulino saying hello. King Akil, I love it. It's stereotypical nonsense that is closer to real than anyone would want to admit. Did I miss a comment? I don't know. I must have missed something that King Akil was bringing up. Let me see here. There are some people that don't necessarily look like $1,000,000, but they bring such a strong energy and confidence to the workplace. It makes you want to see them succeed. Yes, and they draw you in. So yeah, I mean, a lot of things that I really like with people that I work with is when folks are really passionate about what they do, and they're passionate, they're motivated, they're energetic, they're happy, they're enjoying to work with, they bring new ideas, people that even challenge you sometimes but do it in a respectful way. There's a lot that to be brought to the table, and I think the superficial part of humanity holds us back a lot. And at the end of the day, it is all vanity. So, I made this point in another video. eventually people age. Like we're essentially dying every second. Sorry to drag it down, but we are, and things are going to change. But if you are confident in yourself and you have a good spirit and you're positive, all of that still will draw in people. So it's just a lot. But at the same time, that is the world we're in. It's a lot of vanity, and how do we get past that? Even like when I asked earlier, well, what are women, what are the valuable things that women bring into the workplace? You guys noticed that it was a while. King Akil brought us home with some good points, but it was like, well, they smell nice. It was like, what? So here I am, like, so we smell good. Okay, well, that's nice. So I can't use that to make the point about we need to be paid equally if that's the value that we're bringing. But King Akil brought up some great points about us, how we bring a very different perspective into the workplace that can lead to some really great results. So I really appreciated that. Let me see here. Miss Full Roller. I either saw in a video or read somewhere a study that said taller men are perceived to be smarter. Really? And you were like, really? That is interesting because we talked about this last time with the, whole scenario of men CEOs. When you look at the CEOs and leadership across the board, men, they're always going to be taller in most cases. Outside the scenarios where that person started the company. But even then, a lot of times these men are taller, like Mark Zuckerberg. I even think he's really tall. Is it just that is so interesting that they're seen as smarter just by being taller? It doesn't make sense. But I do wonder if men are still seen as smart when you add some bulk to them. So is it like if they're thin and tall, but what about if someone's really muscular, like a Jason Momoa? I don't think I've ever heard anyone describe him as he's a really smart guy. But he has a really big stature. So it kind of goes to that stereotype of, the dumb jock. So that is an interesting point. I would love to, if you recall the article, I'd love to hear about that. Let me see. Oh, Tasha Society snuck in here. Hello, dear. Hello, my beautiful friend. And my beauty Miss Full Roller is saying society likes bravado and looks more than common sense and intelligence. Yes, like if it comes to you in a pretty package, and I know we talked about this before, but you actually I think I was talking to my brother about this yesterday. I was, because I told him that we're in this society where as long as it looks nice. So I don't really care about the contents that's in this box as long as it looks good, as long as it's presented well, as long as it sounds good. I like it. So if I have one gift that's wrapped up in newspaper, but there's a diamond in there, but this other gift has, pretty wrapping and there's a bow and there is just lovely, all beautiful colors, but there's like a rock in there, like a basic, ordinary rock or piece of coal. Most people are going to gravitate to the package with the coal in it over the diamond, and they're missing that diamond just because of the packaging. So, when we're hiring, we're missing out on talent, especially female talent a lot of times, based off of how someone looks or even how someone is speaking with you. It's so interesting. King Akil. King Akil says, I think everyone should say who their celebrity crush is. Well, you guys know mine. And that's one of my celebrity crushes. I have more, but that's like, He is like the top of the pack. And it's funny because all of my celebrity crushes are older than me. Like these are folks that I've had a crush on for a long time. Like it's like high school. And today I'm still crushing on them. so so yeah, Jason Momoa, like I think I noticed him the most in Game of Thrones. I used to watch Game of Thrones a ton. Like I was a diehard fan. Got together with friends and we watched it every Sunday. And it was love ever since. And I'm kidding, it's not real love, but you know. Let me see. Hello, hello, welcome in. King Akil's vlogs. Paola knows talking with you. I had many crushes practically every day. Regina Hall, Kerry Washington, okay. Holly Berry, of course. Angelina Jolie, Pam Grier. Oh, I know her. I can't recall the movie that she's in. Like she's in this popular movie and I can't think of it. Yes, hey. Let me see here. Handmaid's Tale, perhaps the greatest show in a decade. Also recommend. Oh, you're talking to someone. You're recommending some movies. Let me see here. Palo Lindo, you are making me laugh. You are going on and on. Let me see here. You are too funny. I don't even know who Rosie Perez is. Let me see. Tasha Society, she's saying you're wonderful. Good. Glad to hear that. I'm trying to see who's. Oh, Tasha Society. I think we talked about this. Tupac. Yeah, I could see him. Yeah, I would put him on my crush list for sure. I forgot about him. Yeah, I would put him on the crush list. Not for like, more so like how he thought, like his way of thinking too. Not just the looks, but yes. Miss Full Roller says no, the guys who are muscular are not necessarily seen as smart. I think that's where the term musclehead, yeah, that term comes from. And the dumb blonde for women. Right, right. Yeah, because I'm trying to think of like scenarios where men have been called smart, and I don't know. I don't know if men are typically, they're definitely called smart over women. Women typically are described as, let me see, you know, they're pretty or they're nice or they're a sweetheart or they're a doll. They are, yeah, though, I mean, when I think of how either I have been described, how I've described other women, or how I've heard other women described by either men or women, it is typically, oh, she's so beautiful, or oh, she's so nice, she's so, you know, sweet and kind and blah, blah, blah. So what happens when a woman comes into the workplace and she's not that? Then what? I mean, is she still valuable? If, you know, two women come with the same base of skills, but this one's pretty, does that in essence make her more valuable than this other one that maybe is more plain Jane, or maybe she is just, I don't know, maybe she's not seen as a Kevin Samuels as a high quality Kelly Rowland type. I know that's like his top tier woman is a Kelly Rowland type. So, well, what if she doesn't look like Kelly Rowland? What if she looks like, I don't know. Um, I'm trying to think of someone that is, and I can't think of like women today. I'm not thinking about anyone, but you can feel free to put a name in the chat. Whoever you can think of that isn't like the status quo of like beauty, the standard of beauty in the celebrity world. Like what happens then? Is she really just seen as less valuable? Let me see here. Everyone's talking about Pam Grier. Miss Willow is saying she still looks amazing. Aw. I gotta look up a picture of her. I know she is beautiful. Definitely a beautiful woman. Let me see here. Not to be discriminatory, ladies. Oh goodness, I haven't read the whole thing yet. Let me get ready for this. Let me sip a little water. Let me. All right. Okay, real brother. Let's see. Not to be discriminatory, ladies, but can we please excuse posthumous crushes from the current list? I don't know. Can we? I haven't even seen everybody's list. I don't know if real brother, if you shared who your crushes were. Uh, oh wow, Miss Boo Roller. Felicia Rashad. Yes, she is gorgeous. Denzel Washington. Mm-hmm. So Tasha Society says being pretty gets you far in the workforce, in my experience. Yes, and Tasha, I talked about this in the last live when I decided to put on that makeup every single day, keep that hair together, dress like wear dresses, heels, like it was everything. Nails, and my nails aren't done right now, so don't judge me. I just don't want to risk going into the salon right now. But all of that, actually, when I started doing that consistently, like not ever changing it up, I began to see like I was promoted and like good things started happening to me just in general. And I think it was a mix of one, the appearance, because appearance gets you farther, especially as a woman. But two, I think that just made me feel more comfortable at work too. Like it was literally and it's still a process for me, I guess, but it's just like the process. And my mom actually always taught me to, whenever I go out to look my best, but life happens and you're like, I'm not going to do this one day. And then, you start to be inconsistent. So I have seen it personally that yes, it definitely gets you further in the workplace. It can get you hired for sure. We talked about that. And I even think, and the men in the chat can tell me this, but do you feel like you're able to receive a message better when it comes either from a woman versus a man or from a more attractive person? Like, are you able to get feedback in a better way? Or are you able to, if someone has to tell you no about something, are you able to better manage it when it comes from someone that's more attractive? Do you feel like I have multiple questions for you guys. Do you feel like when there's a pretty woman selling something to you versus a man, do you feel like you buy more? Do you feel like you buy more from an attractive man? Like, are there real tangibles to an attractive person in the workplace? Like, are they able to get better results just because of the physical, like the fact that they're more attractive? We've got to find out some research on that. Like Miss Fro Roller, she came in here with the facts. Men that are tall are smarter. They're seen as smarter. Let me see here. Paulino's talking about somebody on the West Coast. I don't know who that is. Oh, you're talking about Tupac, I think. Hello, hello, Murad. Hello, welcome. Nice to see you. We're having a little chit chat today, and I am trying to follow some of the comments in here. Let me see. So we're talking about Biggie. You know what? I'm going to pivot too, because even with that, now for me, I was not alive technically when these guys were like really rapping, but I learned about, Biggie and Tupac from my dad because he would play that music versus my mom who didn't. But Biggie, I didn't gravitate to him because, to be honest with you, he wasn't attractive. Like I know when I was little, I was like, ugh, and oh, Tupac, that was literally it. And then, obviously hearing the music, there was one that I gravitated to over the other. So I naturally gravitated to Tupac. And I do feel like a lot of that was his attractive, like the way he looked. But then also for me, I can be a little deep. So I like a deeper meaning. I like a lot more context. So that was the key for me. But what originally drew me in was oh, this one looks good. I'm gonna listen to this one more, versus the, missing attraction for Biggie. Let me see here. Folks are saying hello to everybody. Murad is in here. Let's see. Oh, thank you. Yes, folks, you just reminded me. Thumbs up the chat if you haven't. And if you're not subscribed to me, subscribe. I never say that in my lives. Like, I don't really think about it. I do that for my videos, Murad, but I don't know. During my live chats, I'm just like, hey, let's talk about this, and then I'm out. So thank you for saying that. I am, fingers crossed. I hope it happens. But either way, I am still going to be on here. I'm going to be sharing information because that's what I do. I want to help people at the end of the day. And the times right now, I feel like I have to do it. I have to. So I definitely appreciate you. But yeah, if you have not subscribed to me, definitely do that. Let's see here. And thank you. Yes, Miss Full Roller, I appreciate you. Yes. Let me see. Paola knows. Society, I wasn't attracted by men. I'm not yet. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I think you guys are still talking about Tupac. Let me see. Let me see. I live in Las Vegas. I was in the what? You were in the casino? Oh my gosh. Wow. That's crazy. Oh, hi, Washable Marker. Welcome and thanks for subscribing. Welcome to my channel. I hope you like the content. I have discussions like this, but normally I am talking about jobs and tips to, help folks either find a job or find a side hustle or side income because, people, we all got to make a little extra money, right? So that's normally what I'm talking about. But then I do trickle in a few discussions like this one. So thank you for being here. Welcome. Let me see here. Paola, no, you're too funny. The black is the winner. Oh my goodness. I have not been to Vegas yet. I was planning to go this year with some friends, and I really want to go when things are a little more calm. So next year is on Las Vegas. Let me see here. I think I missed everybody's crushes. Did I miss everyone's crush? Let me see who everyone's crushing on, especially Real Brother. Real Brother, if you are in here, I think you need to share your crush with us. Let's see. So this was Ms. Fulber's point earlier. Yes, I 100% agree with that. Let me see in here. I don't even know if I know half of these people. Let me look up some of these folks. Oh man, let me see. I don't know. So I get Real Brother's point. I don't know. I think some of the folks might have passed away. I don't know. Let me see. Diane, Carol. Let me see here. Wait, is that Diana Ross or? Sorry, I Miss Pro Roller. You know me. I'm bad with anything before the '90s. I'm like, what? Who are these people? Oh, she is stunning. Oh yeah, she's passed. Oh. But yeah, she was definitely stunning. Let me see here. Being pretty as you far in the workplace. Yep, yep. Let me see. Tasha Society, is that true? Tupac was the only man you were ever attracted to. What? Because we were talking about Jason Momoa earlier, and that's that's like my top celebrity crush right there. One of my top. She's talking to a Real Brother. If any man alive, no one. Aw. Let me see here. Also, Murad, you're from Detroit. Okay. So you made the move to, oh, wow, you made the move to Vegas like, oh, that was a long time ago. So you've been there for a while. Well, I guess you like it. It sounds like a great place to live, like something always to do normally. Lived in Vegas, but most of my life. I now live in, oh, Florida. Very nice. Very, very nice. Let me see here. You guys are funny. You guys playing casino in the chat. Tasha says no man does it for me. There's some people that are handsome but not a crush. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I can understand you, Tasha. But I mean, I guess you might be more like me because I feel like I have to know more. It can't just be, oh, you're attractive and that's it. It has to be, I feel like you are like the way you think I'm attracted to you. Like you have to think on a deeper level and we have to be able to have conversations and things like that. So no, I totally get that. 100%. Hey, Fire Squad, welcome in. We've been rounding out this discussion. I will be wrapping this up here soon. I just looked at the time because a lot of times I'm just having so much fun talking with everyone. I don't even really look at the time on here, but I've been on here for over 2 hours, so I will be getting off of here soon. But we basically just had a discussion about men and women, like just talking about men and women at work. What are the challenges? You know, what's some of the valuable things about women, and things like that. So it's brought us now to this conversation where we're just talking about our celebrity crushes and things because I think it was, wait, who was it? I think it was King Akil, if he's still in here. And he was sharing about he was sharing a comment, but he mentioned Jason Momoa, and so that got me started. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's my celebrity crush. And so now we're here. Started from men at work. That's where it started. Started from women and men in the workplace and the challenges that each of them have with working with each other. And then we had that discussion, and now we're here to celebrities and celebrity crushes. So let me see here. But glad you're joining, Fire Squad. My crush is a semi-famous YouTuber with a mid. You are too funny, real brother. Well, thank you. I appreciate your comment. That is so sweet. But we were talking about celebrity crushes, but thank you. And yes, I am, for anyone that's new, I am from the Midwest, and I recently moved to the South. And yeah, I share with people how to get jobs, how to get extra money. That is my thing. So yes. And real brother, you know I love compliments, so thank you. I'm probably blushing. Let me see. Yeah, Tasha loves the mindset too. Tupac was a hothead, yes, definitely. But yes, yes, and I do agree with that, and I like when men express themselves in, you know, their natural way. So for me, yeah, it was definitely the mindset, like hearing him speak. Now his actions were a different thing, and we get into the hothead thing and like, you know, the women, but he was young, you know, so no, he was cool. I think I really like him. I also really gravitated to, and I feel like people have different opinions in the chat, but I also gravitated a lot to Michael Jackson and the way he was as a person. I know there's like, you know, I think he was at his core a very good person and just talented beyond his time. Like he just transcended through time. I think he was also very spiritual, which I liked. So let me see here. Oh yes, Sasha, I knew what you meant. Oh, King Akil is still in here. Hey, you are hanging with us. Paolindo is having a little party. Oh, Murad has a good point in here. To me, it's what's in the heart, not the looks. If you look beautiful but have a bad attitude, I'm not attracted to you. Yeah, so we talked about that a little bit earlier about, what makes a person gravitate to another person, right? So, is it solely the looks? Like, is it solely like at its core the look? Like if and I brought up this point too, like I add extensions to my hair or I get some work done or I do whatever that adds to my look even more to the, aesthetic that is shown as the ideal woman. Um, does that change me as a person really? Or is it more, if I really wanted to have, I don't know, some work done, I don't know. Or if I wanted to whiten my teeth more, okay, I whiten my teeth. And now I'm more confident and I walk a certain way differently. I hold my head up high. I give people eye contact. I am smiling all the time and I just radiate naturally. There are definitely people that I've worked with, I've been friends with that necessarily aren't the image of beauty standards, today, but they're beautiful and they're beautiful because of their inner, like how they talk and how they treat people and how they walk into a room, they light up a room and it's just that energy. So it could be a mix of that as well. And so when you bring that into the hiring place, well, if a woman's been told that she's ugly for 10 years, or if she has gone on interview after interview after interview and she can't get an interview and she thinks it's because of how she looks, well, maybe she's not going to get the next interview because she's less confident. So maybe she doesn't get the job because of her confidence, not because of how she looks. Let me see here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, real brother. Yeah, that was actually the first thing I noticed about his thumbnail are the waves. Crushing on his waves. Let me see here. Washable Marker says Tupac was the best rapper of his time. So, you know what? For me, I think I'm biased because I don't like my brother, because he's 20 years older than me. So when he was like listening to Tupac and all these folks, I was like a baby, or I was just being born or just before I was born. So, I mean, I don't know anything about like Eazy-E. I just know things that I've heard from him. The only rappers I know from like the late 80s and early 90s are Tupac and Biggie. Like those are the only ones I know. So when I looked at both of them, and I have listened to Biggie later in life, but I always just gravitate to Tupac. But originally it was because, oh, he looks nice. And I'm like a little kid. Like I was young, like very young, should not have been listening to rap, but my dad would play it every once in a while. So when I would hear him, I would listen to it. So anyway, and that kind of stemmed from there. But it was because of the looks, like he looked nice, and that's why. So with Biggie, I don't know if I ever gave Biggie a chance because I was just like, meh, he, he's fine. Like I'm not attracted to that. Let me see here. Of course. And I go to say that because maybe there is something to even the man attractiveness. Like maybe there is something that plays into men, the men that are more attractive, maybe they're even more successful. I don't know. I don't know what the stats are to that. Let me see. Lindo. Could be I could be your next crush too. What? Especially with this hairstyle, the classic hairstyle of a wife who waits with I didn't know that. I just did this look because I need to wash my hair, to be honest with you, and I am not washing my hair today. So But thank you. I'm glad you like the look. Um, I like it too because it does show more of my face. So it's, it's cool. Let me see here. And sometimes I will say, Paolindo, I feel like a housewife because I'm not going anywhere. I can't imagine how housewives feel if they have kids at home and they feel like they have to be at home all the time. I would not like that so much. I gotta be out no matter what I'm doing. If I'm going to the gym, going to the spa, I have to go somewhere. This is getting to be too much because a lot of things I want to do have restricted hours now. Murad, if you're good inside and out, you're beautiful to me. Yes, I think that is a great way to think. I love it. Murad grew up on Easy E and NWA music. Okay. Oh, I gotta tell you, I have not heard any of their music outside of what was the movie that was made a couple years ago? Guys, you gotta help me. Oh, yes. Straight Outta Compton. That movie, I didn't watch the whole thing. I know. I know it was this great iconic movie, but I guess it didn't resonate with me as much because I wasn't from that era. So I was just like, mm. It was good. I just never finished it. Like I said earlier, someone asked me, I think it was Akil, King Akil. You asked me if I was watching The Office. Like it takes a lot to get me to actually watch a full movie or a full story or whatever. It's got to basically capture me from the beginning and draw me in enough at the beginning to where I watched enough of it to where I feel like, okay, I'm bought in now. I got to see what happens at the end. Otherwise, you don't get me at the beginning. I'm just like, meh, I don't want to watch. Oh, okay. That's right, Paolindo. Well, thank you. I'm glad you think I have nice hair. I appreciate that. So, Paolindo, it sounds like you're going to be cooking for me when I come to Italy. Going to be doing my hair. Like this is a whole thing. Like, do you do nails? Like, I'm trying to figure out what I'm getting when I come to Italy. Let me see. Oh, hey, Latanya, welcome in. I see you. Hello, Mike M. So you're saying that Suge Knight kill Easy? I have no idea. Hopefully someone in the chat knows because didn't I thought Suge Knight killed Tupac? Am I wrong on that? Let me see here. I love political rap or conscious rap. For example, Common is a good rapper, but I love hardcore rap like Gangstar, Guru, and DJ Premier. I have no idea who those people are. I know who Common is. I have no idea who these other folks are. I got into hip hop in the late 90s. Grew up on, I don't know if I pronounced her name right, Sade. Anita Baker. Oh, I have a girlfriend that loves Anita Baker. And I guess I should spend some time listening more to some of the like classics so that I can get into them too. I have listened to some Sade. I haven't listened to Anita Baker, but I know I need to. Well, let me see. Oh, thank you. Hey. Yes, take care of my afro, I can't really make a real afro though. My hair is different like textures all over my head. I blame my mom for that because my mom has like wavy and afro and curly hair, and so it just makes it complicated. So like I just like going to the salon to let them straighten my hair, and like I mean I do it too. I wash and straighten my hair too, but it's a lot easier when they do it because I have textures. I have like 3 or 4 textures in my head. So anyway, side note, not that you guys want to know about that, except for Paolindo. Just share, let you know what you're getting yourself into, Paolindo. He was beside Tupac when he got shot. Oh, really? Okay. Gotcha, Mike. No, Easy's unsafe. Oh, we're gonna leave that alone. Ooh, okay. So, on that note, let me see here. I'll stay on for just a little bit. Oh, Paola, you love curly hair. Perfect. 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 All right. So I gotta wrap this up, but since I know the essence of my channel, I do just want to ask, is anyone in here, does anyone have a question that is job specific before I go? And so I'm gonna give it a few minutes. Job specific, side hustle specific, mystery shopping, what else did I talk about? Current specific, like Current was the company I talked about recently regarding, you can literally get on this platform, share your ideas and knowledge and get paid for it. I know King Akil had something where, wait, was it you, King Akil? I haven't been on Instagram in a while. I think it was you, where they're now with Current saying you have to do like a Zoom call with them. I never had to do that. So I don't know if they're just implementing that because there's more people wanting to try it or what, or if they've just found they need to take precautions. But just want to see if anybody in the chat has a job or hiring, job search, interviewing, resume writing, any of the above. Let me share. My brother is actually texting me right now. He must have heard me talking about him. Oh, I'm laughing at this comment, Mike. Oh my goodness. Well, let him rest in peace. I am not gonna say anything to that. I'm gonna let Easy rest in peace. Let me see. This LS changes and jumps on different topics. It sure does. Like these chit chats are so funny. Food, Paola knows breaking it out for us. So job, food, crushes, hair, rappers. Yes, this is like a open conversation. And that's how I want these chats to be. Like I don't want it to be like, okay, I'm pushing out information all the time. I think those are what my main videos are about. Like in my main videos, I'm pushing out like, here's who's hiring and here's this quick side hustle idea, or here's, a cool site to look at for remote jobs. That's fine. And sometimes I will try to weave more of those specific topics for my lives, but I like the live streaming because I get to chat with folks. I like to hear from you. I like to have discussions like this and really hear what people are thinking, especially for men. I love hearing the male perspective and how you feel and what you think about certain things because, I don't have that. I'm not a man. I don't have that, mental. So it's very helpful for me to really understand what men are facing, what challenges you have, and, what your thoughts are, especially when it comes to women in the workplace. It's helpful because I'm working with men every day. And so I want to have that context, but I am going to try to hang on for 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to get off of here, you lovely people. Thank you so much to my new subscriber. If I can find you, Washable Marker, I'm so glad to have you here. And thank you, Murad K Vlogs. Thanks for joining. I think this is the first live you joined, so appreciate you. This is kind of how they go. You joined towards the tail end of it, I think, but I normally have a topic. We'll start on that topic depending on how long I'm on here. Like once it gets past the hour mark, we're typically on to a different thing, whatever just naturally comes up in conversation. If it's job related, great. If it's not, if it's just more of a get to know me or let's chit chat, that's totally fine. I'm completely open to that. We're all friends here. Everyone's super respectful of each other. So I feel like we can have that type of conversation. So, but if there's ever questions you have for either yourself or someone that is on the job search or something and they just need help, feel free to bring that to these chats too. Like just because I have a specific topic that's a discussion like this one, that does not mean that I'm not going to answer other questions for you. Or if you see the conversation has pivoted to a totally different place, like from job to food to crush to rappers, like Paola has said, I can definitely have that conversation with you. Let me see. Paolindo says, always a pleasure. Thanks, Paolindo. It's always a pleasure to have you, and you always bring some liveliness to the chat and, a great conversation. And King Kill Vlogs, definitely great points from you and Edward Smart earlier, and Real Brother. Great commentary. And Miss Full Roller, I don't know if you're still in here, but great points as well. Tasha snuck in here a little later, so I see you, girl. It was nice to have you. Let me answer this question. I think this will be the last thing I answer before I jump off here. So Mike M is saying, am I not working at the moment? I am working. So I work as a recruiter. So I'm a corporate recruiter. I primarily recruit technical jobs, but I also recruit for different corporate professional jobs as well. I've also recruited for talent that's in factories like forklift operators, production operators, those type of jobs as well. And I used to work at a public relations firm. I worked at a couple different places, but in my professional career as a recruiter, I've seen a couple different industries and how they work. So what I do on this channel is, I bring my experience working as a recruiter, talking with hiring managers, and I bring that to this channel to help with folks that are looking for a job. So most of my content is going to be specific to helping you find a job, helping you find a different income source, side hustles. Like I've done mystery shopping. I still do that lightly every once in a while, but I do apartment mystery shopping. And then I also recently shared a company where you can share your ideas, perspectives, knowledge. If you're in a professional sector, especially, but then also healthcare and a lot of different industries, where you can get accepted to this company called Current, and they will pay you to provide your ideas and join different panels to have discussions. So those are some of the topics I typically share. Now, that's normally during the week. So you'll see those type of postings Monday through Friday. So with the normal work week. When it comes to the weekend, it's a lot more relaxed. I do live chats where we just have a conversation. So normally these live chats are job related or workplace related, or just I want to have a conversation. But then from where that conversation takes us, it's just more chit chat where, we're amongst friends, we're having conversations, and, wherever the conversation takes us, it takes us. So with that, I hope that was helpful. So no, I am working. I work full time as a recruiter, and I also provide career consulting, resume writing services as well. I also do, recently, I've added this into my services, but I'm also editing LinkedIn profiles as well to make it easier for job seekers to have actually recruiters find them for work and to build your professional brand out there. So those are some of my topics. I see, Mike. Very cool. Hello, Ms. Roller. Welcome back. I shouted you out earlier. I said you had some great points for our discussion earlier, so thank you for joining. Thank you, Paolindo and Pam Greer. You are too much, Paolindo. I can't wait to see you at the next chat. I'm planning on doing a giveaway soon. So I don't know if I'm going to do it right before Christmas or if I'm going to wait until the new year, but details about that will come soon. I will have that in a regular video, but it won't be anything too crazy, of course, but I want to do something to give back to someone, and that's what I've chosen to do. So let me see here, the last comment. Excellent. I would have been very surprised if you had said you were out of work. Yes. I mean, it's with this climate, you just never know. But no, I am working right now, and I typically work. So I like working as a recruiter. I like helping people find and really match them to the right job. I'm kind of like a matchmaker in that way, so I like it. But yeah, that's been my work the past couple years, and I really enjoy it. So thank you for that great question. And with that, I am going to say good night to everyone. I know Paolino has already eaten his dinner, but I hope everyone else has a nice dinner. Have a great rest of your Sunday. And, I do plan to put out a quick video this week, fingers crossed. But if I don't get to it, I'm not going to worry myself too much because it is the week of Christmas. So whatever. Nice for, a little break here and there. But I will see you in either my next video or my next live. I do plan on coming on here next weekend still. And I have enjoyed this conversation, have enjoyed the perspective. So I thank each and every one of you for being open enough to share your thoughts and your perspective here on my video and my platform. And I can't wait to chat with you guys again. And great point that was made earlier. Make sure you're staying beautiful on the inside and treating people the right way. So with that, I'm going to let you go. If you didn't like the video before, definitely like. And if you're not subscribed to me yet, definitely hit that subscribe button. And bless you all, my lovely people, and have a good night. Bye.